Welcome back, YouTubers. This is the Viking with Gaming Television Reloaded, and this is episode 3. This time it'll be a Minecraft video instead of League of Legends like the first two episodes. But I'm gonna be playing on friend's server. He calls it XennonCraft, and this server give me a second, see where I'm at. I'm not sure where I'm at. Okay, well, as I was saying, this is a multi-world server, for now, at least. He is planning on opening up different servers for each of his worlds. Starting here at the top, we have the Bending World, a survival world without factions, a survival world with factions and with races and classes, a creative world, the survival games world, the skyblock world, and the soon-to-be PvP world. That is still under construction, so you will not be able to access that yet. Right here's staff list. They are currently looking for staff as well, so join a server. There's a website that you have to apply on, so, and rules, you know, can be important, but sometimes it's just common sense, and a lot of these are common sense rules, but sometimes they need to be posted just in case, because you get those people when you're playing Minecraft. Alright, well, I personally like the Bending World. The factions from the survival server do carry over. I think he's still working on that, but for now, if you have a faction over there, you will most likely have a faction over here. Well, it's okay, it's not most likely, you will have a faction over here. And that explains where I was. I was in the Bending World. Alright. For those of you that have never played on a Bending server, and you don't know what it is, I'm going to give you a little tutorial. On fire, at least. So far, once you pick an element on this world, it is permanent. He's working on making a cooldown for that, but he hasn't implemented that yet, so it's still permanent. Okay, for those of you that don't know what bending is, or have never played on a server, don't know how to use it or anything like that, I'm just going to show you where I have my skills. Let me get rid of this gunpowder. If you do /BD like this, it'll give you a list of where they are in your toolbar or hotbar, skill bar, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, 1, if you hold shift, puts up a ball of fire around you, making it a fire shield. And clicking puts up the shield in front of you. Pretty much just makes a temporary wall of fire. It can deflect arrows and other projectiles, if I'm not mistaken. 2, Fire Blast, is pretty much you just shoot a fireball. Let me find that cow. There he is. Another thing with firebending is when you kill an animal with your firebending, it automatically cooks the meat. So let me kill this cow here quickly. If he doesn't land in the water. There he goes. And as you can see, the meat did come out cooked. Get rid of these. Alright, third we had Blaze, which hasn't been working correctly the past couple of days, so I'm going to give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, I apologize, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let me come up to the hill. It does require quite a bit of land. Well, it doesn't require it, but it's useful to see. Alright, switch to 3. When you click, it's supposed to set the ground on fire. I don't know why that's not working. It just shows smoke. But you could see that it destroyed grass. See? It can light things on fire. It can light you on fire, so on and so forth. I don't think it does anything. Oh, it does. Yeah. If you press shift instead of left clicking, it makes a ring of fire around you. So I'll come up here where there's a lot of grass, and I didn't want to do that. Here we go. And then just press shift, and it is supposed to kill all of the grass around me. For some reason it didn't. Well, this didn't get destroyed because I was standing on it. There we go. But yeah, that's fire or blaze. 4 is heat control. If you were to, I don't know, you'd be shooting something with your fireballs, and you accidentally set the ground on fire. I might have to get closer for that. Yeah, you set the ground on fire, and you want to put it out. You go to heat control. You go to heat control, and just click. It'll automatically put out any fire. It can cool lava, turn it into obsidian, or cobble. If it's a natural block of lava, it'll turn into obsidian. If it's lava that's falling off the side of a cliff or something like that, it'll turn into cobble. So keep that in mind when you're hunting for obsidian. 5 is fire blast, or fire jet, excuse me. Pretty much what this does is it's used for sprinting. You can left click and it'll shoot you across. You can also use it. It does leave behind 1 block of fire. I don't know if fire spreads in this world, so I'm going to put this out. There we go. Alright. It can also be used to throw yourself into the air. And that was a really bad idea. There we go. Alright. Now, 6 is lightning. Some servers you can also use the skill Meteor. It pretty much is the same thing. Lightning, you know, you hold shift, you'll start to see smoke in front of you, like that. You just let go of shift, and wherever you're looking, you know, it shoots lightning. Meteor is pretty much the same way. You can either press shift or left click, and it'll send a fire charge falling from the sky, and it'll do a big explosion with fire on the ground, which, you know, either can kill something, but yeah. 7 was, give me just a second, wall of fire, which can be useful. You can shift, I believe. No? Okay. Left click? Yeah, there we go. You can left click, it'll throw up a wall of fire. You can move, you can do whatever. The wall of fire dissipates after a short time. I'm gonna come down here and hopefully not die. Switch back to my 5 for a second and shoot myself up there. There we go. Alright, now, where'd that spider go? That's what I wanted. Alright, I'm not sure where the spider went. I'll try to find something so you guys can see what wall of fire does. There we go, there's a creeper over here. Alright, wall of fire, throw it up, doesn't let anything throw it, continuously burns it. And you can move around. I don't know if you can put up multiple ones. I think if you click and then click again, it destroys the wall. So yeah, you can only have one wall of fire up at a time. But it is useful for when you're trying to escape or something. You just throw up a wall of fire behind you, and I just got hit by a creeper. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, the wall of fire is pretty useful. It's not very wide, you know, but it's enough to keep things off your back when you're running through the underground tunnels. I'm gonna throw another one up right here. That way that zombie can't catch up to me. Oh, but those guys can. Yeah, I'm gonna use my 5 and jump across over there. That way they can't follow me. There's stuff all over tonight. Alright, I should be safe down here. Alright, now 8. Now that I'm done being hit. 8 was Fire Burst. And Fire Burst, you pretty much hold shift. You'll see the fire like this, and when you let go, it shoots it out all in front of you. I believe it knocks things back, but I'm not sure. And as you can hear, everything up there got hit. So it is a wide range fire attack. I believe it does a circle all around you because this stuff back here got hit too. I'm going to try that one more time, just clicking. Yeah, it doesn't work with clicking. So the only way to use it is to hold shift until you see the fire, and then to let it go, and it's like one big ball of fire that bursts out around you. And that is pretty useful. And the last skill for firebending is illumination. And all it does is pretty much a passive. You just look down at the block you're standing on and you click, and it'll place a torch, and that torch will follow you. And it pretty much just allows you to see in the dark. Of course, it's not going to work underwater, so if you step into water, it'll stay, well, yeah, it'll disappear until the next time you're on solid ground. So, those are the firebending skills for this server. And they may change. And the creeper killed me. Alright, anyway, they may change. I'm not sure what the owner plans to do with the bending world as of right now. But, it is mild. Well, I can't say mildly because I love bending. But that's me. So, it is pretty fun. Again, you can make factions on that server right now. I don't know if he's going to keep it that way or if he's going to disable them and put Townie in. I don't know what he's going to do. But it is fun. So, if you like bending, go ahead and join a server. We can play in the bending world and have fun together. I don't care. The next one I'm going to take a look at is the survival with the races and classes. I'm not going to look into this one because it's pretty much just vanilla survival. And a lot of you already know what that's like if you've ever played single player survival without a modded client. So I'm just going to skip right over to this one and show you guys the races and classes. Alright, when you start, give this a second to load. There we go. Alright, when you start you'll see these. Click here to change your race, click here to change your class. You do have to do both. I don't know if I can, there we go. I can change my class here but not my race. The way this is set up, each race and each class has different traits. Some traits are actual spells, like the wall trait is a spell. Anything that has a mana cost and a duration is a skill. So as you're looking through these, just keep that in mind. I'll leave it on each class for a second so you guys can see these, read them for yourselves, you know. That way you have a chance to decide what you want to be before you actually get on the server, if you're actually planning on getting on the server. So here's the cleric. You know, they don't get any armor traits or anything like that. So it's pretty much just the skills and the mana regeneration, a little bit of axe damage. The barbarian, again, no armor traits. He gets axe damage with sprint traits, and I believe that's if he's holding an apple. I believe. The fighter, last stand, and a damage increase. I believe the damage increase, if it's not any weapon or specific weapon type like sword or axe or bow, I believe it's +1 to every type of damage with every weapon, I think. So yeah. The warrior gets axe and sword damage increase. The paladin, sword damage, it gets a regeneration of 1.5 hearts per second. It does seem a little OP, but you know, the paladin is meant to be the tank. He's going to be out there, you know, getting hit by all the zombies, being shot by all the skeleton archers, so that you guys, the ones that are playing mages and the other squishy classes or races, don't get hit as much. So 1.5 hearts for you guys may seem a little OP, but when you're actually playing and you're actually tanking and taking all the damage, the regeneration kind of evens itself out. And then they also get a permanent potion trait of strength. I don't remember what we gave the paladin, but yeah. The mage, again, a magic class, doesn't really get much except for skills. The fireball, the slow fall, of course the mana regeneration, lightning, and cold feet. Cold feet is actually really useful. I had to walk a horse 10,000 blocks from where I found it back to my house, and had to cross about 3 oceans to do that. So I changed into a mage and used cold feet while I was riding my horse, and just ran my horse across the ocean. Now granted, it does only last for 20 seconds, but if you're counting in your head, you can kind of tell when it's going to stop. So you can stop at the edge of the ice, let it run out, and then reuse it before the ice melts and continue running. And it was a little tedious, but you know, it's a pure white horse, and on this server those are a little hard to find. I started breeding them, so they may not be as hard to find when you join the server, but they were when I joined. The ranger, my personal favorite because I love using bows. They get arrow damage increased, poison arrow, and fire arrow. Each of those can be used in a different way, obviously. But like if you're in the tunnels, you know, there's no water around you or anything like that, I prefer using the fire arrows because it does 10 fire damage over 10 seconds. And yeah, it may not seem like a lot, but what was I saying? Yeah, it may not seem like a lot because it's 1 fire damage per second, but the more you shoot them, you know, well, I can't really say it because I'm not entirely sure if it stacks or not, but with the added arrow damage, I can pretty much kill anything with 2 arrow shots plus a couple ticks from the fire damage. So it's pretty much fire once, fire second time, and then walk away. If they don't die with the second shot, they're gonna die from the fire damage. So it is pretty useful. And last is the battle mage. The battle mage, I believe he made a donator class, and there will be more of those to come. But they get the fireball just like the mage does. They get a flying trait, which actually does let them fly, but it's for 2 seconds, so you know it's just to like quickly climb a mountain or something like that. They get the wall trait like the mage. They get a potion totem, which applies wither to anybody that's around the totem. So if you're being chased and you get monsters or whatever chasing you, you lay down that wither totem, and it ticks off damage every couple of seconds, plus it takes away the ability for a player to see their hearts, so they can't tell how close to dead they are. So they could die under wither and not even realize it. They get an explosion trait, which pretty much just causes a giant explosion all around them, does damage to anything around. I'm not sure if it's like a creeper explosion where it'll destroy terrain, but I believe the owner has terrain damage turned off anyway. So yeah. Slow fall like the mage, so that when you're using your flying, if you fly too high, you just use that slow fall trait, and you don't take damage when you fall. And then the dodge trait adds a 20% dodge chance to being hit, which again, it is kind of OP, but again, it's a donator rank. So if you're paying for this, you kind of deserve to have a little more OPness than the rest of the classes. So those are the classes, and I believe I'm gonna have to use a command to change my rank. Sometimes you can use this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a command. So here are the races. We have a halfling, who, for those of you who are into Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, halflings are pretty much hobbits. They're small, they're fast, so they have a permanent potion trait of speed 2, and they get increased sword damage. The races are what determines what armor you can wear. So the halfling can wear, it looks like, any type of armor. The half-orc cannot, because he has a permanent potion trait of resistance 2, which decreases the amount of physical damage he takes. He also has increased axe damage and sword damage. A lot. Okay, so those of you that are, the PvP kind of classes, maybe the half-orc is what you want to do. Oh, I apologize. The permanent potion was slowness. So it does make, the half-orcs do move a lot slower than the other classes. The drain resistance trait was the damage reduction. So it's a hit hard, move slow kind of class. But because of the reduced damage, we can't allow them to wear diamond armor, because that would be a little too OP, and this is a public race. So can't give you that much power. Sorry. The dwarf has fall resistance, but only because he has a jump height, so he can jump 2 blocks higher, or he can jump 2 blocks, whereas the rest of the classes can only jump the standard 1. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I haven't played on the dwarf yet. But the fall resistance was only because he was actually jumping so high that he would take a half heart fall damage whenever he landed. So we gave him fall resistance to make up for it. He does get axe damage, because you know how dwarves are with their axes, and he gets mining speed whenever he's mining stone, sand, cobblestone, or gravel. So this is like the digging class, or race, for those of you that like to go mining for diamonds. Who doesn't? But for the ones that like to make their houses underground and stuff like that, this is probably the race you would want to pick. The human is standard. This is the race that everybody starts out as when they join the server. They don't get any traits. They can't wear any armor. They have 20 health, which is standard. So don't forget to change your race and your class when you first join the server, because otherwise you're not really going to have anything. The half-elf is half human, half elf, of course, so they don't have the movement speed that elves do, which I'll get to that here in just a second. But they do have arrow damage, and they do have sword damage, and fall resistant. I think their fall resistance is like half of what the elves have. They can wear any armor, but at a reduced health. Now the regular health has 5 less health than the half-elf. but they get speed 1 while they're holding their bow. They get a permanent potion trait of speed 2, or speed 1, sorry. So they generally move faster than the other classes, and they move even faster if they're holding their bow, and it's kind of like an on the hunt kind of trait. They have a little more arrow damage than the half-elf, and twice as much fall resistance. So those of you that like to go hunting with a bow, you know, sniping people from far distances or whatever, the elf is probably what you're going to want to be. And the last is gnome. They have severely low health, but the mana regeneration and the base mana that they have make for excellent clerics, excellent mages, excellent battle mages. So if you have a friend that joins a server with you and he goes paladin, this would be a perfect race, because while he's out there getting hit by everything, you know, taking all the damage, you could be doing massive damage with your fireball, with your lightning, with whatever. And the mana regeneration is high enough with the gnome and the magic classes combined. You have like 3 mana every 2 seconds, or 3 mana per second. I don't remember what it was, but it's a high mana regeneration. So you could spam fireball or spam cold feet and walk or make a path across the water for you and your friends to walk across. The gnome may have little health, but it is extremely useful, especially if you're in party play or, you know, playing with your friends. So those are the races and classes. And like the bending server, it has its unique twists, you know, having the races and classes, whereas the bending server has the elements, but each one is fun in their own way. Neither one has a city around the portal. It's just, you know, the portal that comes in, and then the wilderness is just a few blocks out, I believe. I'm gonna walk out here and see how far it takes. I know it's not very far. I may even already be in the wilderness, I'm not sure. It hasn't said wilderness yet. I am an elf, so yeah, you won't see me take a lot of fall damage in this world. The wilderness may be just past this tunnel. I'm not entirely sure how they set this up. Yeah, this is their safe zone. I think this is where they planned on making their city. Yeah, see, here is the wilderness. I believe this was going to be the tunnel into the city, and then that back there was all going to be cleared out. But, yeah. So this is the standard survival world. It does have factions, faction homes, TPAs. You can set regular homes so that you can have your faction house set in one place and a home set in another, but it is limited to only one. So, but this is the factions, races, and classes world. And like I said earlier, the factions do carry over to the bending world. I'm not much of a survival games kind of person, otherwise I would do or include that into this video. But for now, I believe that'll be it for episode 3. I hope you liked what you saw, because we are trying to get our player base up so that we can expand our maximum player limit. So if you like how the server looks so far, go ahead and join, because the owner is still doing changes to it. And if you like the races and classes idea, we have our own TeamSpeak server. All you have to do is ask for the information if you get on the server, and if you talk to the owner, you may actually be able to help us come up with some of the new races or classes, or help us develop the ones that we already have. And we have, you know, made a few changes since the server first opened, and we will probably do a few more changes, you know, once we add a few more classes and races. We'll probably be changing the ones we have now to make them a little more balanced. So if you feel like you want to be a part of that, you know, possibly come up with your own race or class or whatever, go ahead and join the server. Talk to the owner. His name is Zays101. or Fade6. That's his alternate character. Give him a whisper, or just talk to him in game. You might have a few opportunities to help actually design this server, and if you do that and we get our player base up, there's that feeling of accomplishment where, hey, these people like this class and I'm the one that came up with that idea. So go ahead and join the server, try it out. It doesn't have many players right now, so if you get online, there's only 1 or 2 people on, you're gonna think, oh, this is boring, there isn't really that many people to play with, but who cares, bring your friends on, get other people to play with, make friends with the people we have playing. Have fun. That's pretty much what Minecraft is all about. You have fun, you build, you design. So I will put the server info up in the description, and I will also give you guys a quick look at it right now. With this, it's just XennonCraft.com. Okay, it's a really chill server. It's fun to have fun on. Well, easy to have fun on, okay? And we welcome everybody. So go ahead, give the server a shot, and I hope to see you there. This is The Viking with Gaming Television Reloaded. Thank you for watching.